of us have worries. All of us have things in our lives that we worry about, or things that we worry that are going to happen, or things that did happen that could affect us in the future, or maybe they're affecting us right now, or maybe they go all around the place and we just get so confused about everything that's happened that we're just worried about being worried and finding more worries in our worries. If you got confused after that, you're not alone. I got confused too. But at the end of the day, it's true. Every single one of us has worries. And sometimes we like to try and act tough, like we don't have any worries. We like to try and act like, oh no, it's all good. I know that I've done this before in my life where everybody in the room is scared or afraid or worried about something, and you just act like you're good, and then, you seem tough. When I did something called camp teams in college, it's where we went around to Christian camps all summer long, and we were kind of the counselors there. We had camp teams training, and they would train us on how to do high ropes courses. Now, if you've never done a high ropes course, it's basically this course where it's a whole bunch of balancing 10, 20, sometimes 30 feet up in the air. And you got to walk around on all these balancing obstacles. Of course, you're strapped in, but for somebody like me who's afraid of falling and I say afraid of falling, my wife says afraid of heights, whatever it is, I'm afraid of it. And I don't like being up that high. And so what my strategy was is I would find the person who was the most scared of doing it, and then I would act brave for them, so then I would have to be brave for myself. My first year of camp teams, that worked really well. I seemed like a superhero. I helped this person out who was just having a really hard time being up in the air, and the person actually got through part of the course. Everybody clapped for her. Everybody told me I did an awesome job. It was great. My second years of camp teams, I had the same strategy, but it didn't work out so well because the person who I thought was going to be afraid got up there and he really started to enjoy it. So much so that he wanted to go even higher. And then after we got done on the first part, he said, well, let's go up to the higher part. And I said, oh, are you sure, man? It's kind of scary up there. I don't know if we want to do that. He said, no, let's go. I said, okay. And so we went up there, and I was acting as brave as I possibly could. I was telling myself, you got to be brave, John. You can't go up this high and then start getting worried about, are you going to fall? You're strapped in. You're good. Nothing's going to happen. Well, eventually we went on this part where you had to kind of step, and you were swinging on these very, very tiny platforms, and you were swinging back and forth. And this guy who I was with, he basically just ran across the thing. He had no fear. He was like, I'm just going. And so he runs across these things, and he says, all right, John, your turn. And I remember stepping out on two of them. There were only about 5 or 6 of them. But I remember stepping out on the first 2 and being frozen. I was frozen in place because I was worried so much that I was going to fall that I wouldn't move. And if that's not a metaphor for our lives, I don't know what is. Sometimes we put ourselves in situations, we want to be brave, and we want to say, I'm not going to worry about it, I'm not going to do anything that's going to hurt me, and that's awesome that we start to get through it, but sometimes in the moment, we freeze, and we can't continue on because our worries, our fears, our anxieties, whatever it is, are holding us still. But the truth is, when you're serving God, He doesn't want you to be frozen by your worries. Not because He doesn't want to be disappointed in you, but because He loves you and He's giving you the ability to get through it. In Philippians chapter 4, verse 6, it says this: don't worry about anything. No matter what happens, tell God about everything. Ask and pray and give thanks to Him. When I read that, I read, don't worry about anything, tell God about everything. And sometimes we get a little hung up. We say, well, God doesn't want to hear what I'm thinking. That's going to be too tough. Or God doesn't want to hear those words that I'm saying. He would be disappointed in me. But the truth is that God wants to hear everything that's going on inside your mind, inside your heart. Because the worst possible thing we can do is shield those worries, those anxieties, those fears, shield those away from Him. Because at the end of the day, Jesus would rather hear your deepest, darkest thoughts than for you to shield anything from Him. So don't be worried. Don't be frozen on that second platform. Don't be frozen so high up there that you can't move on. Tell God everything and worry about nothing.